Good morning, friends. Let us start today's class. This week, ज़्यादा classes हो गई हैं आपकी. You have had 2 classes on current affairs on culture by Nikhil sir, और फिर 2 classes हम और ले लेंगे आज और कल, where we'll finish August part 3. I know some portions from August part 2 is pending, वो हम Saturday को करते हैं. Today, the first topic that we want to start with is criminalization of politics. It's a very, very important topic, both from the perspective of the mains examination GS2 as well as essay. So while covering this topic, I've ensured that all the aspects which may be needed for preparing this topic should be here, from the philosophical aspect to the constitutional legal aspect to what Election Commission of India is saying was what are the different Supreme Court judgments, what steps do we need to take to reduce criminalization of politics, and all those aspects. I've tried to make it as exhaustive as possible. So it would take a bit more time, but I'm hoping that after this, you would understand each and every dimension related to the issue of criminalization. Okay, so when we talk about criminalization of politics, first of all, what is meant by it? It means that more and more criminals are getting into politics. More and more people who have criminal charges against them are becoming our lawmakers, are becoming our MLAs, our MPs. Now, why are we saying that more and more such people are doing this? Because if we look at the numbers of people with criminal charges against them becoming member of parliament in Lok Sabha, you would see that here we have provided this figure only provides you number from 2009, but if you'll go to 2004, then there were 24% people, 24% of members of Lok Sabha who had criminal charges against them. This number increased in 2019 to 30%, increased in 2014 to 34%, increased in 2019 to 43%. Currently, 43% of our lawmakers have criminal charges against them. Please note charges, they're not convicted. If they were convicted, they would not have been members of parliament here. Now, some of you may have a concern, sir, charges to वैसे ही file कर देते हैं. Like, they are protesting and sometimes criminal charges are imposed upon them. That's true. But even when you look at people who have serious criminal charges like murder, rape, attempt to murder, these kind of things, even this number has been going up. Serious people with serious criminal charges in Lok Sabha were 14% in 2009. They increased to 21% in 2014. They further increased to 29% in 2019. Roughly 30% of the people in Lok Sabha today are those who have some kind of serious criminal charges against them. आप किसी पे प्रोटेस्ट करते टाइम कोई चार्ज लगा दोगे, दैट्स डिफरेंट, पर किसी के पे रेप का चार्ज या मर्डर का चार्ज एंड बहुत सालों से चल रहा है, there are higher chances that that person is actually involved because he's someone who's powerful. फिर भी 10 साल से उसके ऊपर केस खत्म नहीं हुआ, it means there are higher chances that that person may be involved. So what we are saying is criminalization of politics is happening. More and more of those people who are making laws for us themselves have charges of violating various laws. Okay, now is criminalization of politics a new phenomenon? More and more of these criminals becoming lawmakers, is it a new phenomena? Or in politics, did we not have criminals in the past? So if you look at historical numbers, you would think, Achha, there were very few people who had criminal charges against them. So yes, that was true. There were very few people who had criminal charges against them, especially after independence of India. उससे पहले तो all the freedom fighters had some criminal charges against them. गांधी तिलक सबके अगेंस्ट सेडिशन लगा रखा था. But After that, very few politicians had criminal charges. But does it mean that criminals were not involved in politics? No. Even at that time, even in 1950s, 60s, 70s, where politicians are supposed to have very clean image, at grassroots level, there were these local gundas who used to mobilize either on the basis of caste or some other basis people to go and vote, to group together. There were incidents of violence, and these criminals worked on the grassroots level then. But then what happened that the vertical integration of these gundas who were working at the grassroots level have ended up joining the or have ended up becoming lawmakers. These gundas who were working below the lawmakers have ended up becoming lawmakers. What happened? This is something that we have to understand. How did this vertical integration take place? How did this vertical integration take place? This is something that we have to understand. Okay, now there were three factors basically which were involved in dealing with criminalization or in increasing criminals getting into politics. These three factors were: one, political fragmentation. Now, see, earlier what was happening, there's a Congress party, there's one Jan Sangh, and there are a few more political parties. How many seats, how many tickets would they give? There would be very few tickets, right? But with political fragmentation, with more and more parties coming up, with more and more seats getting, more and more people getting tickets, chances of criminals also getting tickets was high. Chances of criminals also getting ticket was high. That happened. But more importantly, deepening of the competition. Elections started becoming more and more expensive. Elections started involving more and more resources. With more and more resources, with more and more elections becoming more and more expensive, what happened was you needed black money. And that would come from people who are involved in illegal activities. Chances of them being criminal was high. Then the fragmentation or continuous decline of Congress. Continuous, right after independence, Congress party was the largest political party, ruling almost all the states. उनको compete करने के लिए कोई नहीं था. With political fragmentation, with more and more parties coming up, with decline in Congress, what we saw, the scope of tickets being available for anti-social elements also became higher. So I'm talking about how the vertical integration, even for Congress party, there were local level gundas who were working for mobilization. But how those local level gundas eventually got vertically integrated with the political party and then with the governance is something that we have to understand. Okay, now. So because of these three reasons, this vertical integration took place. What is the situation today? This is the situation today. Today, 43% of our lawmakers in Lok Sabha have criminal charges on them. 29% of them do not even have very serious criminal charges against them. Okay, there are some chats. Just give me a second. Video lagging. Guys, I'm also like here, I'm logged in with Zoom and my video is not lagging. So, and for many students, if it's not lagging, then there may be some internet issue on your side. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि इधर से video lag हो रहा है and then some of you are getting perfect video and some of you are not getting thing. Okay, so video lagging issue maybe some internet issue on your side. Come back to this. Now, what are other factors? Vertical integration took place because of the 2-3 factors that we have discussed, but what are other factors which are leading to more and more criminals getting into the system? So we'll discuss it under 3 broad heads. One, why do political parties or why are political parties giving tickets to these people? Second, why are we electing them? Eventually it's democracy. It doesn't matter who the political party is giving ticket to. Why are we electing them? And third, Why is law not able to do anything? These are the three broad reasons for why there are more and more criminals in the system. So first of all, why are political parties accepting such candidates? First is the money required. These candidates are bringing in the big money. Second, muscle power. These candidates do end up doing that. जो mobilization ground level पे पहले कर रहे थे, यहाँ पे they want to do it for they would be able to do it for the party. Then lack of intra-party democracy is a major factor. Why lack of intra-party democracy? ऐसे समझो, suppose I'm a criminal and Congress wants to give tickets to me. Who do I need to convince today? I'll go and convince Sonia Gandhi. Give me a ticket. If she decides, ticket mil jayega. If I had to convince the Congress party and I was a criminal, it would have been very difficult. Workers, other people would have said, he is someone who has criminal charges against him. Why are you giving ticket to him? Because there's a lack of intra-party democracy. If I want to get a ticket from BJP, perhaps I'll only have to convince Amit Shah and Narendra Modi. No matter what BJP workers would say, "Arey iske against to rape charges hai ye wo," they would still give ticket to me. So why do political parties end up giving tickets to criminals? Usme they're getting you money, they're getting you muscle power, but also because there's a lack of intra-party democracy, so they're able to do it. At the same time, a very important factor is their winnability. They're winning also. Studies show that people who have criminal background, their chances of winning is higher than people with non-criminal background. The chances of winning is higher. Why is it so? Why are we voting for them? Let's come to the second factor. First was, why was political party giving them seats? Political party was giving them seats because of the money that they're bringing, black money that they're bringing, because of muscle power that they're bringing, because they are able to win. If they were not able to win, then seat political parties would have also not given ticket. So why are they able to win? Why are we voting for them? Why do voters vote for such people? Why do voters vote for such criminals? Kapish, have you ever voted for someone who had criminal charge? अपने वोटिंग ही नहीं करी, ये अलग लेवल की डेमोक्रेसी फॉलो करते हैं. Why do people end up voting for a criminal? Think of Shahabuddin. He had a lot of criminal charges against him. Why do people of his local area voted for him? Out of fear. आप एक बार वोटिंग बूथ में चले गए तो fear नहीं रह गया. You are voting. People supported him. People tended to vote for him. It because they practiced what is called defensive criminality. What is defensive criminality? Basically, they were serving needs of a group of people. While they were involved in criminal activities, they were defending some caste, some religion, some particular group's interest. While they were involved in a lot of illegal activities, they were also doing that. This defensive criminality makes people vote for them. That is one factor. We'll discuss a lot of other factors too. So why do we end up voting for these kind of people? Usme a number of issues are there. One is the weak rule of law. When rule of law is not there, then we have to depend on a local gunda, local bahubali. My father would come and say, Kallu Ram ji ko vote karna hai. क्यों करना है? हम उन्हें जानते हैं. कोई if we'll face any problem, we can go to him. He's someone who helps people of this region. No matter that person has a lot of corruption charges against him, no matter that person has a lot of other charges against him. It's because rule of law is not good, we have to depend on people like him. Similarly, social division. Oh, he's our own caste. Why would we vote for him? He's some other religion. ये हिंदू है, हमें हिंदू को वोट करना है. ये मुस्लिम है, हमें मुस्लिम को वोट करना है. No matter what criminal background is. Then comes other aspect, they are able to develop credibility because they fulfill certain purpose. What purpose? Redistribution, coercion, social insurance, and dispute resolution. Now, these things should be done by government. These things should be done by government. But in the absence of governance, in the vacuum, go to a rural area, it would be difficult to get a police there and start an investigation. एक FIR फाइल करना मुश्किल होता है. In that case, you would not depend on police, local police. You would depend on the local gunda. That gunda would ensure dispute resolution in case a dispute is happening. That gunda would ensure social insurance. बेटी की शादी है, पैसे नहीं है, that person will provide. He has money. He's supporting people in these situations. Sahab Shahabuddin, Raja Bhaiya, or all those people who have some kind of criminal charges, they are very popular in the region because of these things. They are someone who are able to coerce. They are someone who behave like Robin Hood for their community, for their groups which they are supporting. So in this way, in the absence of governance, these Bahubalis are able to provide those governance aspect. And this is, they while they are criminals, they are defending interest of a particular group of people. This is defensive criminality, which gives validation to them. Himanshu is writing, people normally vote on parochial grounds. Yes, caste, religion, in sare basis pe people normally vote. That becomes a factor. Then another important factor why people end up winning is first past the post system. Why? Think of an area where 25% a particular caste group people, or let's say 25% of people of a particular religion are living. Now this gunda is ensuring, is telling the people of that religion, see, I'm protecting you, I'm your leader. Even if 75% of the people say that, Arey, this is a gunda, he's involved in violent activities, if he's able to convince these 25% people that I'm taking care of you and these charges they are imposing on me, I involved in those activities to protect you, and then it's their conspiracy. So even if majority of people believe that हाँ भाई ये तो गुंडा है, still because of first past the post system, they would be able to get enough number of votes and win election. Sometimes it is said that people are ignorant, that they end up voting for people with criminal background, but that's not true. People vote for these kind of candidates in spite of knowing that they have criminal background. The criminal background, their criminal background comes as an asset. अरे वो एरिया का बाहुबली है, मैं जानता हूं उसे, हमारे काम आएगा. These are some of the factors which make them win. The two aspects we have covered. One, why do political parties give them ticket? Two, why are they winning? Why do we end up supporting them? Third, problems in our legal system. What problems? अरे वो criminal है तो उनके ऊपर 10 साल से केस चल रहा है. The case should have been finished quickly. They should have been convicted. Convicted criminals are not allowed to contest election. But the delays in our judiciary, delays in our criminal justice system, the flaws there, the flaws in witness protection and all other aspects allows these criminals to continue participate in these kind of activities. Fine. Why is criminalization of politics taking place? पहले क्यों थोड़े बहुत criminals came into the political system? Why the vertical integration took place? Historical reasons, but today's reasons, why political parties give them ticket, why we make them win, and why law is not able to handle these aspects. But what is the consequence? अगर criminals बन रहे हैं your lawmakers. If criminals are becoming your lawmakers, what would be the consequence? First, it will perpetuate criminalization further. Before 2014 election, I was watching one of the speeches of Narendra Modi, and he had said, and he had announced an amazing thing. He had said that within 1 year, भाइयों और बहनों, 1 साल के अंदर ये जो पार्लियामेंट में जितने क्रिमिनल बैठे ना, उन सबके अगेंस्ट केसेस चलाएंगे और पहले उन सबके अगेंस्ट एक्शन लेंगे. But when he went into the parliament, he realized his own party members are full of people who have criminal charges, and perhaps and before 2019 election, he did not make this promise because he realized doing that was difficult. Why was that difficult? Because a lot of lawmakers themselves have criminal charges now against them. So when there are criminals in the lawmaking body, it further perpetuates. Now taking action against them is becoming more and more difficult. Making a law against them would become more difficult because 40% of them would be disqualified. If we say that people who have criminal charges against them would not be allowed to contest election, a lot of them would be disqualified. So it perpetuates. First thing that it does is it perpetuates criminalization further. Then they're making laws for us. Will a person who's a criminal make good law? Who has criminal charges against? No. The law would be inefficient. The law would be arbitrary. The lawmaking also suffers. Criminalization suffers, lawmaking suffers, crime increases, corruption increases, and eventually some of these MLAs, MPs themselves become minister and govern this country. Governance suffers. All the aspects are suffering. What are the things which are suffering? पहले तो criminalization और बढ़ रहा है. Lawmaking suffers because these people are not efficient lawmakers. They'll make arbitrary law. Corruption would happen. Criminal activities would increase. They would also be part of government and governance would suffer. Okay. Some of you are typing fast track courts, representation of people. हम पढ़ेंगे, सब पढ़ेंगे. देखो, this huge topic will come to what steps have been taken, what more steps needs to be taken. We'll come to all those. Don't worry. Okay. Then Pranmay has written, there was no concrete medium through which voters can know charges on electoral candidates also. We are coming to that, beta. Pranmay, we'll come to that. अभी एक एक करके चलते हैं ना. Right now we are talking about why criminalization has happened. Then we talked about what are its impact on lawmaking, impact on governance, impact on criminal system, impact on overall criminalization. We have talked about that. Now let's go to steps which have been taken to curb criminalization of politics so far. What are the legal provisions? What are the Supreme Court judgments? What is Election Commission of India doing? What are the different steps which have been taken? The reason we are covering this topic is recently a Supreme Court judgment came where it penalized almost all the major political parties for not following its February 2022 order. So we'll come to that judgment also. We'll talk about February 2020 judgment also. We'll talk about all the previous Supreme Court judgments which are related to criminalization of politics. But let's go one by one. First of all, what is Representation of People Act saying? Or what is Representation of People Act doing regarding criminalization of politics? It says that a person who's convicted of an offense which is in which sentence of 2 or more years is involved. If you are convicted of an offense, you are disqualified from contesting election. यहाँ पे जो भी MPs हैं, they have charges against them. They're not still convicted. So if you are convicted for an offense, what happens? You are disqualified. Fine. ये वाली बात है. तो what is Representation of People Act doing? They're doing this, but this disqualification is valid only for 6 years from his date of release. Suppose I have been sent to jail for 10 years. In 2021, I'm sent to jail for 10 years. In 2031, I'll be released. For next 6 years, till 2037, I will not be able to contest, but from 2037, I can again contest election. जैसे अभी अभी वन फॉर्मर हरियाणा चीफ मिनिस्टर हैज बीन रिलीज्ड, व्हाट वाज हिज नेम, ओम प्रकाश चौटाला आई गेस, है ना, ही वाज इन जेल फॉर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड, नाउ ही हैज बीन रिलीज्ड, एक बार वो पूरा फ्री हो जाएगा, आई डू नॉट नो वेदर ही इज आउट ऑन बेल और व्हाट, but once he's completely free he would not be able to contest election for another 6 years, but after that he would be able to contest elections. So lifetime ban on convicted criminals is still not there. Second, there are a number of Supreme Court judgments, a number of important Supreme Court judgments regarding criminalization of politics. What are these Supreme Court judgments? First is the ADR case. ADR is an NGO, Association for Democratic Reforms, ADR. In this ADR case, for the first time, this was a landmark decision. Before this, the candidates with criminal charges did not even disclose that they have murder, rape, and all these charges against them. It was in this ADR case, Supreme Court ordered disclosing of criminal cases pending against the criminals. It made it mandatory for all candidates to file an affidavit before the returning officer disclosing the criminal charges. It happened for the first time in 2002. What has been the impact? It has increased transparency. Now at least we know that 40% of them are criminals, but it has not ended the political gunda nexus, the political criminal nexus. That is continuing, that is increasing. Nowadays, so if you know more, if you are more criminal, chances of you winning election is higher. जितने ज्यादा लोग पोलराइज होंगे ना, कास्ट के बेसिस पे, रिलीजन के बेसिस पे, रीजन के बेसिस पे, more gundas would be able to get elected, more bad people would be able to get elected. इसीलिए कोई भी ना आपको कास्ट के बेसिस पे एकदम वो कर रहा हो, रिलीजन के बेसिस पे, रीजन के बेसिस पे, do not get influenced. They're trying to fool you. These politicians are not like when a political party in Maharashtra starts beating up North Indians, they try to show we are working for Marathis. They try to show this, but in the same political parties, there are corrupt people who are looting money of people from Maharashtra. So they're not working for Maharashtra. They're corrupt people who will polarize you, who will say, "Ki, see, we are fighting for you." They're working for themselves. Because सबसे पहले हम अपनी कंट्री को रखते हैं. If you have betrayed them by beating people from one part of the country, you will even betray your own state. You will betray your own family eventually for money and for power. So don't get influenced by when people try to polarize you on the basis of religion. देखो उसमें तो ये होता है, उसमें तो ये होता है, उसमें तो ये होता है. On the basis of caste, on the basis of region. All these things are tactics which criminals use to reduce their accountability. They would say bad things, they would do bad things to you, but then they'll try to show they are the ones who are protecting you. And you'll also believe, हाँ यही तो हमें protect कर रहा है. If he's a criminal, if he's a corrupt person, it is your tax money which he has stolen. If an MP is corrupt, we sometimes proudly say he's an MP, he has 2,000 crore rupees ka property. We say these things sometimes very proudly. I know him. अबे चूतिए, तेरे ही पैसे करप्शन से उसने पार कर लिए, तो it's your tax money which that person has taken. It's your money that that person has stolen. We have to be, if we want to reduce corruption, we have to be ensuring that हम किसी भी तरह का bad behavior, just by assuming that for us, do not accept. Coming back to this, so ADR case में this happened. At least now we know the data. Everyone in an affidavit to the returning officer is disclosing that this is happening. Second, Lily Thomas case. Another major judgment came in Lily Thomas versus Union of India. What was Lily Thomas case? देखो, Section 8 of Representation of People Act does what? If you are convicted, you cannot contest election, right? Section 8 of Representation of People Act is doing, but there's an exception here. Section 8(4), which said that if you're already an MP and MLA, if you are a candidate just and you are convicted, then you are disqualified for sure. But if you are an MP or MLA already and then you are convicted, then Section 8(4) said that you will get 3 months to file an appeal. You are not immediately disqualified. You get 3 months to file an appeal. In that appeal period, what politicians used to do, they used to get stay on that judgment, and even after being convicted by a court, they would continue to serve as an MP, MLA, contest election, and so on. They used to do this because of this exception. In Lily Thomas case, Supreme Court said, no, this is not allowed. Galat hai. When a candidate is disqualified then and there, he is not able to contest election. Why someone who is already an MP, MLA is given 3 months to get stay? That person should also be disqualified then and there. Lalu Yadav, convicted, sent to jail. Koi stay convicted, and he also lost his membership of Lok Sabha after this judgment. It was this judgment which made it possible. Else, what would have happened? He would have got 3 months to file an appeal. He would have got some stay and would have continued as a member of parliament. A criminal would have continued as a member of parliament. To Lalu Yadav, we can proudly say he is a criminal openly because court has convicted him. Now, if I if I go to Bihar and say this, मुझे मारेंगे लोग. कोई एक ग्रुप मिलके, कोई एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी वाले लोग मुझे मारना शुरू कर देंगे. Then I'll have to depend on some other Bahubali because police is not doing its job. I got dependent on that Bahubali. I will vote for that Bahubali. Criminalization of politics, defensive criminality because of the absence of proper law and order. Coming back to this, did we understand what happened in the Lily Thomas case? In the Lily Thomas case, the court struck down Section 8(4) of Representation of People Act. This section used to allow 3 months, for filing an appeal and everything. The bench found it unconstitutional. It was this judgment which sent Lalu Yadav to jail. Fine. Now, there's another landmark judgment of Supreme Court to deal with criminalization of politics, that is PUCL versus Union of India 2013. In this, nota was introduced. If, as a voter, you look at this, all candidates are bad. All of them have criminal charges against them. You could go for none of the above. The nota option was introduced after PUCL versus Union of India 2013 judgment of Supreme Court. Then there came Public Interest Foundation versus Union of India 2014. It was in this judgment, Supreme Court said, establish a fast track court and within 1 year, dispose of all the cases against the elected members. Idea was, if they are criminals, convict them. If they're not, let the case get over. Once they are convicted, they would be disqualified. This was another mechanism to ensure that criminals are not able to remain in the politics as MPs or as MLAs for a long period. That's why Supreme Court had given this judgment. But again, Supreme Court ne order diya ki within 1 year do this. Did government do it? No. Even now we have so many criminals. Then इसी का Public Interest Foundation and others versus Union of India, Constitutional Bench of the Supreme Court gave a judgment. It did not come up with a strong law themselves. It recommended Parliament कि भाई, please come up with a strong law which will prevent criminals from becoming MPs or MLAs. The court also said both political parties and candidates should publish online the pending criminal cases they should give wide publicity to it. So here this judgment was criticized because some experts felt the court had an opportunity where they could have actually come up with new set of guidelines or come up with a judgment that all those people who have been charge sheeted, they should be prohibited from contesting election. But nothing like that happened. Court gave recommendation to parliament that you come up with a law. Now court was right on its side. Lawmaking is not its domain. But again, some experts who are more for democratic values, they said ki nahi, court should have used this opportunity to come up with a law. On the same grounds, later in February 2020, court ordered political parties to publish the entire criminal history of their candidates. Not only publish them, but this history should be detailed with nature of offences, charges framed against the person, the courts concerned, the case number, etc. Not only these details should be there, but it should be published in local newspaper as well as national newspaper, as well as on social media handles of the party. Once a person is elected, within 48 hours of it, it should be mandatorily displayed. So mandatorily published within 48 hours of selection of the candidate, or less than 2 weeks before the first date for filing of nomination, whichever is earlier. Then court ordered political parties to submit compliance reports with the Election Commission of India within 72 hours. The court said that political parties should do this within 72 hours. They should file a compliance report with Election Commission that they have done all these things. Candidates who have criminal charges before their selection for tickets, all the details should go on the website. All the details should go on the social media platform. All the details should go on in the newspapers and so on. So this was another attempt by court. Things have reached alarming level, and now at least let people know this is the situation so that they can take decisions. But this did not, even this did not happen. Few political parties initiated the process. Few political parties did not even start the process. And therefore, recently in 2020, Supreme Court has imposed fine on various political parties, including the major parties BJP and Congress, for covering up from the voters the criminal past of candidates that they had fielded in Bihar assembly polls. Bihar mein elections हुए थे towards the end of 2020. They were supposed to do this before giving tickets to candidates. 48 hours before that, filing before nomination. All these information should have gone on their website, on social media platform, or in newspapers, but this did not happen. The February 2020 judgment was not properly followed, and thus Communist Party of India and NCP, they had completely ignored the judgment. उन पे 5 लाख का फाइन लगा था, and on several other parties ₹1 lakh fine, including Congress, BJP, ₹1 lakh fine was imposed. This happened abhi. The reason why we are covering this topic in current affairs is because this is a judgment which came recently. Other than this, other than imposing contempt charges on them and fining them, court also came up with certain other orders to highlight criminal cases against candidates. What were those charges? What are the other steps that they have taken? Court has asked Election Commission of India to launch a dedicated mobile app for voters, through which voters would be able to get criminal history of candidates at the touch of a button. Idea is voters should be having right information before voting. They should be informed that their candidate has so many charges against them. This candidate doesn't have any charges against them. The court has also said that the Election Commission should also form a separate cell within Election Commission to monitor political parties and their compliance with the Supreme Court's judgment. Further, court has shown its agony in the fact that the court themselves have requested on a number of occasions that Parliament should come up with a law to weed out criminal elements from the political system, but that has not happened. But even at this time, court has said that its hands are tied from taking any further action. It cannot make a law. It said we cannot transgress into area reserved for legislative arm of the state. We're judicial arm. We cannot get into legislative arm. We can only appeal to the conscience of the lawmakers and hope that they will wake up soon and carry out a major surgery for weeding out the malignancy of criminalization in politics. So right from 2002 to 2021, all the important Supreme Court judgments we have done. The idea is you should not run behind 10 sources for studying criminalization of politics. आपके पास एक जगह सारी चीजें हैं. When was Nota introduced? When were making disclosure of criminal antecedent made compulsory? Fast track courts के लिए 2014 वाला judgment था. तो all these judgments so far. Other than this, so we have talked about what ROPA says, Representation of People Act says. Once convicted, you are done. You'll have to wait for 6 years after your release to contest election. We talked about what are the various Supreme Court judgments to fight against criminalization of politics. Then there are certain things which Election Commission of India does. Election Commission of India, for example, comes up with model code of conduct. During election times, from the time election is allowed, code of conduct comes into play. In this model code of conduct, Election Commission of India regulates a lot of things in that state or in the country, which prevents criminal elements from having a lot of influence. So we'll study model code of conduct thoda aur detail mein separately. Other than that, Election Commission of India has also given a lot of recommendations. It says that candidates against whom crime of heinous nature are pending, they should be debarred. They should not be allowed to contest election. But they cannot make laws of the country. No, they are only giving recommendations. Fast track courts should be set up so that pending cases are done in a quicker manner. Lifetime ban for convicted candidates should be there. Once convicted, why allow that person to contest election 6 years later? Ban that person completely. Then Law Commission of India also in its 244th report said that lifetime ban on convicted politicians should be there. Convicted politicians should not be allowed to contest election ever. So there are some provisions in the law. There are some Supreme Court judgments. Some things which Election Commission of India has said. There are some recommendations of Law Commission of India also, which are doing what? Which are step towards fighting criminalization of politics. We have done so many things, but still criminals to aa hi rahe, and the numbers are increasing. The numbers are not going down, they're increasing. So what should be done? What should be the way forward? Criminalization of politics has become so deep-seated that we'll have to fight it on several fronts. From constitutional legal efforts की तरफ से हमें laws में भी change करने पड़ेंगे, हमें as a citizen अपने आप को भी change करना पड़ेगा, हमें जैसे फंडिंग होती है उसको भी चेंज करना पड़ेगा, हमें गवर्नेंस को भी इंप्रूव कर. ऑल दीज फैक्टर्स आर समहाउ कंट्रीब्यूटिंग टू क्रिमिनलाइजेशन. तो व्हाट आर द थिंग्स दैट वी कैन डू? वन, constitutional and legal reforms. Make some changes in the constitution, make some changes in the law. What can we do? One, banning convicted criminals from contesting election for life. This has been already recommended by Election Commission of India as well as Law Commission. Both Law Commission, Election Commission of India. So we should change the law to say that a ban ho gaye. Now Lalu Yadav should not be allowed to contest election. Now Om Prakash Chautala should not be allowed to contest election, even 6 years down the line. This should happen. Then charge-sheeted candidates should be banned from contesting election. Now, who is a charge-sheeted candidate? Candidate against whom charge sheet has been filed. तो जो charge sheet file होती है ना, वो judiciary में होती है. Police prepares charge sheet that against this person, these are the charges. So in a way, judicial mind has been used, and judiciary understands that okay, there's a case. Only then charge sheet is filed. So if there's a case which judiciary kind of has agreed, there is a case. He's still not a convict, but there's a case. In that situation, the person could be banned. Then fast track courts के provisions भी होने चाहिए. Why fast track courts के provision? Because without them, these cases would remain pending for long and situation would keep worsening. So these are some steps that we can take from constitutional legal angle. We also have to work from governance and administrative angle. Till the time the redistribution, coercion, and all other things which government should be doing is being done by these Bahubalis, people will keep voting for them. If we do not have good governance, if we do not have good administration, it would be difficult to fight criminalization of politics. And this administration should also include judicial administration. Cases fast track manner में implement हो, dispose हो. That would also play an important role in fighting this. Then Election Commission of India, media, civil society organization, they have to play a very important role in bearing the faces of these people. देखो हमारा candidate has criminal charges against him. We do not even get to know that because in an affidavit to returning officer he has filed that, but on public platform that's not available in spite of the fact that Supreme Court has given orders regarding that. So now the recent judgment where Supreme Court has asked Election Commission of India to develop an app is a step in the right direction, and that app should be finalized as soon as possible, developed as soon as possible, and citizens and civil society organizations should promote the use of that app. More and more promotion hona chahiye so that we get to know who are these people who are creating problems. Then role of private corporates would also be huge here. Why? देखो अभी they have to depend on, political parties have to depend on criminals because a lot of money comes from them. But if corporate sector starts contributing a lot of money for elections, in that situation, what would happen? The dependency on black money would reduce. And this would be huge. This would be important. Then citizens. Eventually, it's us. How would criminalization of politics stop? If we stop it, because we are the ones who are electing them. We have to believe in ourselves, or we have to, rather than saying believe in ourselves, we have to be very careful. Iske against criminal charges hain, but still my father is asking, vote for him because he's from our party. We should say no, we will not vote for him. If your friend is saying, अरे ये तो opposition वालों ने charge लगा दिए, even then we should not vote for him. Understand that opposition वालों ने charge लगा दिए, but you are in the government. Those charges could have been done away with very easily. You could have fought case, you could have given proof कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ है. तो be cynical, be suspicious, and vote for only very honest candidate. Do not vote on the ground of religion, race, caste, region, language. Do not vote on those grounds. The biggest problem that India's democracy is facing are not these criminal politicians. It's us who are not changing our attitude. We're still voting on these so-called parochial grounds. So if democracy have to survive, if criminalization has to be reduced, our role is the most important one. And if we do not perform our duty, then there's no saving. Okay, so this was the topic of criminalization of politics. From every aspect, क्या है, कैसे है, क्यों है, Supreme Court judgments, the laws, what should be done, governance, legal, constitutional, as citizen, as businesses, all those aspects are there. Now I'm pretty sure that even if you are asked to write an essay, content will not be an issue. You have enough content. आपको 3 घंटे भी लिखने को बोल देते हैं, आप लिख लोगे. You have enough content related to that. Maybe you'll add some examples, but content is enough. Now you structure it. I have given some example questions also. Structure it, write an answer. Okay, let me take the doubts which are there. Pranmay Pandey ji is writing, there was no concrete medium through which voters can no charges on electoral candidates. Also in West Bengal election, politician bypass Supreme Court order by publishing the record on obscure newspaper and incomplete information. Okay. What is the purpose of Nota? It doesn't serve any effective function apart from showing disapproval for the existing choice of electoral candidates. Yes, it's not serving any purpose, but ऐसे समझो कि showing disapproval of voters is also important. If in an election 10% of the voters show disapproval, then perhaps candidates, political parties would realize that we could have got these 10% vote if we had a clean image wala candidate. So Nota can thus play a role. Amit is asking, अच्छा ये प्रणमय के साथ आपस में डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं, करिए. Okay.